Mike Jakubowski joined by Hall of Famer Pete Weber. Good evening, Pete.
Good evening, Mike. How you doing tonight?
Outstanding. What a remarkable man, Johnny Petraglia. Your pop was the greatest ambassador, and Johnny Petraglia is now filling that role.
Well, you know, they say Dick Weber was the greatest ambassador, and yeah, I have to agree with that. But since Dad's passing, Johnny Petraglia stepped up, and he's been the new ambassador of bowling. And you know, I really don't believe that we could get another guy other than Johnny that is with the great name and things that he does. So.
And it's the Johnny Petraglia BVL Open. Opening shot in our stepladder, Tom Baker versus Brian LeClair. 6 around the 10. Pete, we're dealing with a 42-foot pattern. They call it the PBA50 standard pattern. Another look at opening shot.
You know, this place is it's really easy to hit the pocket, but the carry this week has been really brutal, and the scores have been really low. But, you know, it's something that we have to deal with, and, you know, it's just something that when you know that you can hit the pocket, you just got to keep grinding, keep grinding, keep grinding.
Little history on the line tonight. Tom Baker, the only player in history to win 3 PBA 50 Tour titles in a row. He did it in 2006. You have a chance to equal that tonight.
Oh, it just so happens that Tom Baker's my roommate, too, out here on the PBA 50. So, you know, it's kind of neat that even last year we had a few top fives together, and now the first week that I room with him this year, that we're both in the top 5. So, you know, it's kind of cool for me, and I know it's cool for Tommy too.
And we might have a roommate battle for the title here. Brian LeClair's opening pitch. Brian has a unique style and a whole lot of hand.
Well, Brian's a little more conventional. He's a little more direct, where Tommy circles the ball a little bit more. Brian's a little straighter, but you know, even though with the bowling balls today, that's what makes it great, is because everybody has the same chance.
Brian was saying that he started going with weaker balls with surface. He was looking for something that hooked up early and continued. That was his key.
Well, yeah, and I kind of went the opposite way. I went to the lower line balls just because I knew it would go a little longer down the lane and then finish it a little bit harder, where the higher line bowling balls roll a little bit earlier, and you just don't get that on the back end. So, you know, I know what Brian means, and I know what Bakes is trying to do too.
Extra look at the heavy roll of Brian LeClair.
It's all forward roll. I mean, the ball is rolling end over end, forward, 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 and as you see Tommy, he's more of a spinner.
Bakes super consistent top 10 finish at the Pasco County event and back-to-back stepladder finals.
Well, you know, Tommy Baker's what do they say, like fine wine? He's getting better as the age goes on, you know, and somebody stuck their 25 cents in him this morning, and now he's going to bowl for next 3 days.
Key for Bakes was to face it upright, he said, and to said how he accomplished that is he softened up his speed.
Well, yeah, and, you know, in this house, too, because the carry's so bad, well, I shouldn't say bad, it's just hard to strike, but, you know, sometimes you just have to adjust your speeds, and sometimes you got to adjust what kind of surface you put on the ball. And me and Tommy talked about it last night, and I said, well, I think you need to, like, ball down a little bit and put a little more surface on it, and obviously that's helping him out today.
7-10 kind of fold in on each other. Spare double for Tom Baker. Brian LeClair had the unfortunate instance of shooting 245 and dropping 2 spots in the position round.
It's kind of tough when you shoot 240 in position round and then you drop 2 spots, but you know what? It's just something that, you know, we know how to deal with it as long as we stayed in the top 5. Now he's still bowling, and he's got a chance to win.
Brian, a winner last year on the PBA 50 Tour. He had sought a national title for so long, and he finally picked one up, and he did it in the most amazing fashion, surviving every challenge there was, including a roll-off late.
Well, you know, sometimes, Mike, it's just you got to survive.
It ain't easy, is it, Pete?
No, it's not easy. Not out here. And, you know, and even though this is the PBA 50 Tour, the guys are probably a lot stronger out here than they are on the regular tour, you know, because they're not here to finish second. They want to win. And that's what I think Brian is, you know, thinking about.
Opening 4-bagger. Here's an extra look.
Yeah, well, hopefully he doesn't throw like the front 9 and then 8-10 like I did last week. So
Tom Baker, spare double against the LeClair 4-bagger to open. The winner here will face Walter Ray Williams Jr. And welcome to Farmingdale Lanes. We're on Long Island, about a 45-minute drive from LaGuardia Airport. Fourth stop on the PBA50 Tour. And Bakes calmly directs 10 into the pit. The big follow through.
Mr. Emotion. Tom Baker, Mr. Emotion. Look. Another strike. I'll turn around and walk back.
I prefer to call Tom all business.
Yeah, he is business, that's for sure. And he's out here bowling. I mean, we have conversations on what do you think that I should do, or what do you think that I should do, and it's just he's a grinder. He works hard at it, and all the hard work he's put into it is paying off.
Light, and he shakes him out.
Wow. He showed emotion. Look out.
Pulled out the five shooter. Pay attention to the pin action. What makes for a house with tough carry?
I really don't know how to answer that. It's just we know from being here last year that the carry here was really, you can hit the pocket very easily, but the carry wasn't there all the time. Just certain pairs, certain bowling balls or help you get the carry. And probably your attitude tries to a little bit too. But Brian's got a great attitude right now. Look, he's thrown like 10 in the pit 5 times in a row now.
And so interesting, I asked him specifically what was his look on the fresh, and he said he struggled on the fresh.
Well, yeah, but now that they've had 20 minutes of practice before the TV show started, I mean, the oil is actually transitioned and it's moved down the lane, so now he has a better read of what he's doing.
Pretty good read so far, 5 perfect strikes. LeClair first shot in the 6th, opening match at the BVL Open. Wow, not a bad one in the bunch.
Sorry, his look right now is pretty good. Bakes is actually pretty good look too now, so this could be 300 to 290.
You remember the highest scoring television match that you were involved in? Offhand?
Not really. I think maybe I think it was me and Steve Wilson in 2003. I shot 299. He had 236 or something like that. But then again, there was another time in Japan that Walter Ray shot 289. I had 235. So there's just a couple that stand out.
First off shot is a light hit, producing double wood. 2-8 left for Baker.
It looks like he kind of lost it off his hand a little bit.
Players, you mentioned the practice session. I noticed last week at Mooresville, and this week you chose not to take the time that is allotted to you for practice, and that's something that you mentioned is just 8 shots is good enough?
Well, I'm feeling that, like, if I go practice on the fresh oil, that I'm not really bowling on what I'm going to be bowling on when I get to my match. So I'll do my time and I'll loosen up out here. And then when it comes over to the TV pair, then I get 8 shots. And I'm feeling that 8 shots is good enough for me to figure out what I'm doing. You'd never see that on the regular tour, would you? But Bakes, Mr. Nice Guy, what did he win the Steve Nagy Award like 3 or 4 different times?
Also,
so he's Mr. Nice Guy.
Tom Baker, in search of his own history, he's got 12 PBA 50 titles. He's chasing John Handegard, who has 14, the all-time leader. Bakes could get the Baker's dozen if he runs the ladder tonight. Here's LeClair on the front 6. That's a little wide.
He kind of lost that off his hand, too. Just you could hear the ball bounce onto the lane and just kind of lost it off his hand. But it can't be perfect every time. Although we want to be, we can't be perfect.
Nope. single pin for LeClair with a spare. He would lead Tom Baker by 21.
So this game is actually really close, and it's still pretty much even right now. I mean, Brian can't afford to go 9 spare again, because you never want to give Tom Baker a chance to close you out or anything.
Our thanks to the Laspina family for their support of the Johnny Petraglia BVL Open. Last year, over $50,000 raised in support of veterans programs, recreational programs, the Bowlers to Veterans link. And Johnny, of course, serving in the Army.
Yeah, and that's really cool that Johnny Petraglia take his time to tell us stories about what he's done in the Army, but he's so nice. What a great ambassador that we have there, and then for all the charity that we do for him and the BVL, it makes us feel really good. We had a shootout on.
Yeah, I was going to mention the Clash of the Heroes. We were able to pair up with 5 members of our armed forces.
And they pay us to do that, but we, as a group, decides that we cannot take this money from the veterans. They're too important to us and too important to America, that we just feel that the money that we get from Johnny, or that we get for that, we give right back to the veterans and make sure it goes into their funds, so they have another $2,000 a year going back into their funds.
That's well done, and a well done double from Tom Baker, who cuts into the lead of Brian LeClair. Stepladder matches get decided in the 9th and 10th, and we're there.
Well, what I like to see is these guys shooting 260, 270, because I know when they get to me, they're not going to shoot 260 or 270.
Baker light, shakes the 7 out.
God, what a first opening exciting match, too.
Walter Ray Williams Jr. keeping loose on the low end of the house. Tom Baker, turkey. LeClair can max at 279, Baker 268. Foundation frame for LeClair. Wide, but he roars the 5 into the 7.
Another good break right there for Brian. It sounded like he lost that off his hand again. You heard that little bounce in there, but he got away with it. And that's what professional bowling is all about. If you're ever going to be great and good, you got to get the breaks.
So LeClair with a chance to shut out Tom Baker, 10th frame.
It's very rare, too. As you watch Brian set up, he puts his thumb in the ball first, adjust it, and then put the fingers in. And most bowlers will put their fingers in first and then adjust with the thumb.
Oh,
so
7 pin.
He kind of went a little high that time, tripped the 4 out, but didn't get the 7.
So now 258 max for LeClair, and Tom Baker can step up in the 10th.
See Brian stick his thumb in and then put his
finger. A la Tommy Jones.
Yeah. That's pretty much a Dave Husted technique, too, because he always put his thumb in and then put his fingers into the ball. So it's kind of cool that they're not conventional about that,
Tom Baker's going to need 2 strikes.
Depending on what Brian does on the shot. If he gets 9, Tom can go strike 9 spare for a tie. But no matter what, he's going to have to throw a double to win the match.
Light power mixer shakes a 7 that time. 258 for Brian LeClair. All you ask for is ball in hand.
That's right. Just give me a ball in hand, and I'll take my chances. Well, I know that what Bakes thinks too. Just give me a chance. You know, win 12 times out here and be bowler of the year 3 years in a row on the PBA 50, not knowing how to bowl.
Touch high.
Oh.
Roller. 4. Oh, my.
Yep.
And by that slim margin, Brian LeClair advances and will face Walter Ray Williams Jr. That could have easily dominoed the other way.
It very well could have, but you know, I don't think he felt like he threw it that good, and so you know, it's just something I'm going to have to listen to after a while.
Pete, thank you so much for stopping by, and good luck tonight. Your thoughts on the potential history tonight?
Well, you know, as long as I go out and I feel that I've thrown the ball the best I can, then I'll be happy. If I win 3 in a row, then I'm going for number 4 at the U.S. Open, which is my title.
You kind of have a history with that event, senior or regular.
Second, first at the U.S. Open on the PBA 50.
Yes, sir.
But those 5 on the regular tour, you know.
I saw it. I was 20 feet away. I'll never forget that moment for the rest of my life.
It's one of the best moments of my life. You know, it just to have Don Carter and Dick Weber have 4 All-Stars, and then I get the 5th U.S. Open. That meant so much to me.
And then that last shot in the 10th was still the purest shot I've seen under that type of pressure.
And people thought I should have been nervous on that. I wasn't nervous at all, man. I was ready to go. Like, this is what we live for. Throw a strike to win the U.S. Open by a pin.
Over Mike Fagan. I will never forget that.
And I'll tell you what, Michael's my teammate on the PBA League. But, you know, what a great champion he is, and I can't express my gratitude to him as much as everybody else, and thank you so much.
Well, Pete, you're either going to face Ray Edwards, Walter Ray Williams Jr., or Brian LeClair. Good luck tonight.
I want Walter. I want Walter. So, guys, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
That is Hall of Famer Pete Weber. He will bowl for this title tonight, and if he wins it, it would be his 3rd in a row, tying Tom Baker on the PBA Senior Circuit. We'll be back with our next match, and Hall of Famer John Petraglia will join us. Coming up next, Brian LeClair versus Walter Ray Williams Jr. live on Extra Frame. A special evening continues here live at Farmingdale Lanes out on Long Island. Mike Jakubowski now joined by PBA Hall of Famer Johnny Petraglia, the man whose name is on this event, the PBA 50 Johnny Petraglia BVL Open. And John, very moving words to get us started tonight. And as always, we love it whenever we get a chance to swap some time with you. And talking to Pete Weber about Dick Weber being the greatest ambassador, and I think you've assumed that role very, very nicely over the years.
Well, what can I say, Mike? Nobody can replace Dick Weber. Nobody. And he's the reason I became a pro bowler. I was just watching him do his thing when I was 13 years old, and then when I went on tour, just watching Dick week after week after week just reaffirmed the person that he is, not only for his talent, but for just his benevolence and what he did for the sport. He was really what bowling is all about. You know, I hate to bring in golf, but Dick Weber is bowling's Arnold Palmer. That's just what he is.
Here's John Weber.
Bowler of the Year twice on the PBA 50 Tour. 7-time PBA Tour Bowler of the Year, USBC and PBA Hall of Famer Walter Ray Williams Jr.
And here we go. Next match, Brian LeClair versus Walter Ray Williams Jr. The winner will move to the semifinal and face Ray Edwards. And John, pretty good opening match.
Wow. It's, you know, this was an extremely tough shot the entire week. As an example, to get a check, 184 under is about a 187 average, to give you an idea of how tough the lanes are. But as the week went on, and especially today, all of the guys that are bowling the best sort of get on top of each other. They know where to play, and they're actually creating a terrific shot by themselves, which they've done, and what they're doing to the TV pair. And all are accurate enough. All are great bowlers. So I expect to see good games during the entire show. And LeClair has just been bowling well this whole 4-week swing. He's Brian has always been there, always, and you can't. I put like Brian LeClair and Jack Jurek are sort of in the same class that when you look at all the talents there, you say, what is causing not more titles to be there? Because the both of them are so great.
Walter Ray with the soft 10. Walter mentioned before we started that getting to the pocket wasn't the issue. It was getting it in the right place to carry all 10 was the issue.
Yeah, the Farmingdale lanes has been notorious for tough carry. And now with the new wood in there, coupled with the new wood, it made it very, very difficult to strike.
We noticed the flat bottoms.
Yeah, and you saw it all week. And
Yep.
you could tell by the scores. Trying to think of the number for the original check is what, 197 average, I guess. So you can tell how hard it was to get a check. I think it was 57 under, which is about a 197 average.
Yeah, the cut for top 32 was 196.44.
Okay.
And then Stein and Tignor got in at 188.5 average.
Yeah, and now as you're watching the show, you say, really, how could they have been that tough? Well, they were that tough. I guess topography has a lot to do with it as we move pair to pair. And once the lanes get this tough, the reason that you're not seeing any lefties there is because, well, first of all, only 3 of us made the cut. And the first, I made the cut and I'm bowling by myself. And then when I come out the second time, Parker and Mike Scroggins are bowling, but we're never on the same pair. So Scroggins was the only one to advance. Parker and I didn't make it. And Brian's still bowling great.
He sure is.
And then when they go out to bowl, now you know that everybody up there, you have the top 8 coming in with the guys that got to that point. And the lanes are blending out, and they all know exactly where to play, and they're all almost like creating their own condition. And Mike Scroggins is wall shot 7 for Walter is on a because he's the only one. All 6 games he bowls on the fresh every single pair, so he's got fresh and carry down in the middle of the game, and it's very hard to keep up when the scores start going up. You know, for Mike to have made it to Stepladder, he's defending champ, but it would have been a miracle. He did extremely well for where he finished.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't be too hard on yourself, John. That's a main field cash for yourself and advancement.
Yeah,
and what I love about you is you give it everything you got every time. Talk about never say die.
Yeah, just
that's what I love watching about you. You just never ever give up.
Well, you know, let's put it this way: you're out there and you have to throw the ball. So what's the sense in throwing off? You might as well try as hard as you can.
Well, I love watching you try that and do that. And
Yeah.
6 slaps to 10 for Walter Ray.
Yeah. I think you know, it was when you start the week and then you end up making money and running around a lot because my name's on the tournament, which it turns out to be a very good week for me.
LeClair, Turkey to begin. Walter Ray Dutch through 4. Johnny Petraglia BVL Open with Johnny Petraglia and Mike Jakubowski. Here's LeClair in the 4th. Light power mix.
Wow,
he commands that hit where the 5 just slams into the 7.
Yeah, Brian is really sharp right now. It's the lanes are going to change a little bit between now and Game 4, but boy, he just looks terrific right now. Walter has been bowling very well all week, but like you said, Mike, it's all about carry. And when Walter hits a pair he can carry, he would bowl 260. And the other games that were 2-0 with 2-10, he bowled just as good. It's just that a question, did he get the 10 out or not?
Wow, 5-bagger.
Brian's having a good time right now.
No doubter. Walter Ray said his largest string of the tournament came in the position round, a 10-bagger.
A 10-bagger, yeah, 279, which moved him up into 3rd place. But he better start stringing right now, or he's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Oh my, 7-10 split swishing.
You know, the one thing about Walter, which Pete would figure into the same kind of mix, is I think bowlers really step up and concentrate harder when they bowl Walter on TV. I know that I did, because you automatically think that, well, he's not going to make a mistake, so I can't make a mistake if I'm going to have any shot to win.
That's part of what I love about bowling, is reputation matters.
Reputation definitely matters, no doubt about it. It's almost like the pins know this guy is up, so I'm supposed to go down.
Well, the pins don't know him, but I'll guarantee the opponent does.
Now, Walter just moved in and strapped it, trying to bowl the way that Brian LeClair does. And the way that the pattern has developed, Walter's natural game is to be down and in, stay behind the ball, not to get in and really try to hit it and go around. And he's trying to bowl the way the guys that are really up there bowl, which is it's very, very tough to win bowling somebody else's game. And if that guy is in stroke and hitting the pocket every time, you're going to have a really tough time. Now we have Brian LeClair, and then we have Ray Edwards following if Brian should win this game, and then Pete, where you got 3 crankers in a row. I don't know if you want to call Pete a cranker, but he does cover a lot of boards. So it's similar style games.
Front 5 for LeClair. And he packs another.
Yeah, this shot doesn't look like it's going to change too much. And Brian looks really sharp.
Brian, speaking recently of play, just a couple bad breaks here or there have kept him out of advancement into future rounds. And John, sometimes you just need one good thing to go your way to get it to that next step.
Exactly. I think Brian's got about 20 regional titles. He's won once on the senior tour. He hasn't won on the regular tour, and everybody wonders why. When you watch Brian bowl and you look at all that talent, it does get a little bit confusing.
Light.
Yeah, that one.
And 2-8-10.
That one was a bad shot. That one, as he got to the bottom, he overturned it at the bottom, laid it a little short, had nothing in the back end. And Walter hasn't doubled yet, but this will still inspire him, because this puts Brian back in the 230s, I guess, and Walter, can jump at that at this point.
Made the 8 dance, almost slid it across.
Oh, right, Walter had the open. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Watch the pin fall as he gave it.
Yeah.
That was a 2-pin.
Oh, look at that. Slid. Almost popped out.
.228 max for Walter Ray. Drove that one home.
Yeah. I think, it's do or die right here. You have to let your opponent know there are no freebies. I expect Walter to strike here, to be honest, and let Brian know you got to mark out. I know the game looks lost, but you better mark out because I'm going to strike out.
Ray Edwards is keeping loose down on lane 6. Walter Ray really needs a double. And he got it.
There it
6
is.
laps to 10. Ray Edwards has his own history on his mind. He can join a select group of PBA professionals to win at every level of competition. Ray has won on the national tour, the regional tour. He's got a senior regional, but he's yet to win a senior national title, so he could join that club tonight.
Yes, he can, and probably one of the reasons that he hasn't won yet is he never really gets to bowl senior national stops the way his life has transitioned. He just doesn't get to bowl a lot of them. And he gets to bowl this one, and now he's got a shot to win.
Oh,
And
my. 5
bingo.
count split.
We have a game, Chris, as the old Burton used to say. Yeah. And, you know, this is makeable, but it really can change the whole game.
Open here would knock him down to 220 pace.
Well, now we have a match as we
do.
go into the 9th frame. And
Doesn't matter what LeClair does here, Walter Ray can step up in the 9th and 10th.
and put a lot of pressure on him. Ray Edwards, by the way, as he's getting ready to come up, you know, his national title, when we look back, because he hasn't bowled on tour in so many years, I remember when he won with a red Rhino. It was a dull red Rhino, and he polished it to the hilt where it was shiny and made magic out of it.
1989, El Paso, Texas.
Wow.
We had looked that up earlier.
Yeah.
Brian recovers with another perfect strike.
Okay, now here's Walter at his best right here.
Walter can take it off the sheet. He'd make LeClair have to double. Foundation frame. Oh!
Wow.
In the nose, 16.
Yeah, cut a little bit short. The ball hooked early on him. And that's something you have a 250 to 240 match, and then you figure that the scores are going to stay that way, and then the lanes change just a little.
And they did. LeClair had the front 6, and then
Yeah.
split as the transition occurs.
Well, this was the condition, you know, most of the week. This was PBA standard, which pretty much was supposed to be a 5-to-1 ratio, which comes out to a modified house shot. Not as easy as a house shot, but fairly easy, and the scores should be high. But the PBA changed standard from 5-to-1 to 3-to-1, which makes it one board away from a U.S. Open pattern. And so the scores ended up being very low, especially in a house that doesn't carry well with new wood. And so it kept the scores down quite a bit.
Factors.
Yeah, all those factors come in.
So 206 is the max for Walter Ray Williams Jr. $205.
So LeClair pretty much has to keep it on the lane.
Coming up next, the semifinal with Ray Edwards. As soon as it's official, it'll be Brian LeClair versus Ray Edwards, and Pete Weber is waiting his turn, starting to loosen up now with Edwards down on the low end here at Farmingdale.
And LeClair.
Brian goes up the middle.
And now he's got to hit something. You know, just that's amazing. You know, he actually 99 and 7 is 206. Oh no, he's got it by a pin, even if he 7's out. But
and a little showboat.
And he makes
How
it.
about picking it up to 5-7-9? Brian LeClair, it's official, will face Ray Edwards in the semifinal of the PBA 50 Johnny Petraglia BVL Open. And we got things started, John, with our Clash of the Legends 2, and then a chance to showcase the 5 Hall of Famers with our Clash of the Heroes, featuring 5 of our representatives of 4 of the armed services branches. And then you guys came up with a great moment, and we were able to record it for the PBA YouTube channel. And
that's
it was 4 Hall of Famers striking within 4/15ths of a second of each other. We had it to 4/15ths of a second between the first ball hitting the pocket to the last.
Isn't that great? I was positive I left a half-7 on that shot, and somehow it went down.
Your body language hit out.
I wish more of them have gone down during the week. With that, you know, we did a thing like that for TV in Europe and Germany, and we must have tried for 2 hours, and we couldn't get everybody to strike at the same time. And this, we try it one time,
first take,
and it happens.
Like Sinatra, first take. Get me out of here.
First take. It was just that was very special. That was terrific.
We'll take a short time out. Ray Edwards warming up to face Brian LeClair in our semifinal. Pete Weber to follow in the title match. You're watching live coverage from Farmingdale Lanes tonight on Extra Frame.
And we are ready to get the semifinal match underway. The PBA 50 Johnny Petraglia BVL Open here in Farmingdale Lanes. It's 2 players that are very familiar with themselves, good friends. Both have won Bowler of the Year titles in the East region. Ray Edwards 3 times, Brian LeClair twice. Both have won multiple PBA Regional Tour titles, 20 times for Ray Edwards, 18 for Brian LeClair. Edwards also a PBA Tour champion, winning in 1991 in El Paso, and Brian LeClair, a PBA 50 Tour champion. It's going to be a great match between 2 good friends. Let's give them a nice send-off to start the match. Ray Edwards will start.
The John Weber tracker is exclusive to Extra Frame. He is tremendous in all facets, our esteemed PBA 50 tournament director. And here we go, semifinal. Ray Edwards elects to call his own number, begin the match on the left lane.
He does. And the folks that haven't seen Ray for a while, you know, Ray was a really good bowler on tour, won on the national tour. You know, don't expect him to lay down like, oh, this guy's going to be easy. Ray's a terrific bowler, and I expect him to bowl a real good game here. He's been doing real well.
Brian LeClair defeating Tom Baker, and Walter Ray Williams Jr. taking out a pair of Hall of Famers, now moving into the semifinal, looking for his second ever senior national title. And he has started with strikes in each of his first 2 games. Oh, 6 around the 10.
Solid 10, great shot. I thought in that position round match, you know, I know Ray hasn't been there in a while. I was curious to see how he was going to do, and boy, he shot 279 just as smooth as silk, just like he was back on tour full time.
Jumped up a couple positions. Nice strike for LeClair. Splits the 8 and the 9. Extra look. Take a look at the ball path through the pins.
Boy, Brian doesn't look like there's any problem at all. He just split the 8-9. Like you said, he's throwing it really well.
And Ray Edwards, he has his own history on his mind tonight. He's won at 3 of the 4 levels of PBA competition, national title, regional title, senior regional title, looking to add his first national senior title. Oh. And 6 around the 10, and a very kind of old school stand-up straight delivery.
Yeah, his game hasn't changed in a long time, and he's always stood up like that. And in fact, I remember, you know, Bill Spigner is a really good coach, and he tried to change him to stop standing up, and it just isn't in Ray's DNA. This is the way he bowls the best, and you know, it's hard to argue with success. And the 10 pin pops out into the gutter again.
Oh, we get a Deadwood. We get Jeff's favorite is the Deadwood clear. We love Deadwood
clear, yeah.
Yes.
We love the Deadwood clears. And the method of Deadwood clear is always a topic of intense conversation. Oh, we're going to get the hook.
Yeah.
We're going to get the hook for it.
The hooker dropped it.
Talking to Ray a couple of years ago, he committed to a fitness program. He does CrossFit and he does outdoor biking, and he's in tremendous shape. He can't weigh more than 153 pounds with lunch in him.
That's true. Well, that ball hits a lot harder than
sure
that.
Sure does. Oh!
Okay, so they both had a ring and 10, and every ball is hit solid.
But Ray was saying that he finally saw the ball reaction he needed to see that allowed him to stay aggressive. Was the key to his getting there.
And once, you know, a good ball reaction creates good shots. A bad ball reaction creates bad shots. When you know you can't miss a board left or right, it's very hard to free swing it. But once you can, then you start making better and better shots, and the ball reaction gets better.
Pure.
It's like what Brian has just showed us. Right?
Wow. Doesn't get much more pure. Watch the ball through the
Look
pins.
at that.
Boom. Athletes in the family as well. One of Brian's sons walked on Division II baseball team, and other bowls as well. So athletes in the family. Vicious ringing 10.
He took a little extra time that time. He knew it was a really key shot, and he wanted to make a good shot. 9.5, ring and 10 that moved. Ball pin got hit and didn't go down.
Bear for Brian LeClair. It's Mike Jakubowski with Hall of Famer Johnny Petraglia. Take this opportunity to thank John Laspina and all of his help with this event. How long have you known John Laspina?
Maple Lanes opened in Brooklyn in 1960. We were both 13 years old, and John's dad opened the center, and then we bowled in junior league together, and I've known him that long, and it's been a terrific relationship over the years. Pretty good.
Oof, Edwards.
Ray just killing him right there.
Double.
It's a good game.
Takes a 1-pin lead on this shot.
And it's John, we raised $50,000 for the veterans last year. The final numbers haven't come in this year. We still had about 600 pro-ams bowl in the pro-am. And we're probably going to raise similar amount of money, which, if we can do that every year and, say over a 10-year period, raise $500,000, it's a big help for the vets.
Beer frame. Edwards can extend his lead. And he
same
gets
thing
the
as
7-10
Walter Ray.
split.
Is that the same lane? I think it is. It's a lot of times when you
Jeff, do you remember which
the
lane?
same lane? Because a lot of times on that pocket 710, the rack can be a shade open, which creates it, and close enough that you're not really checking the rack close, and then you leave that pocket 710. It's you split the center of the fairway and it ends up in the middle of the divot, and or worse.
So now Brian LeClair, a chance to step on that. 5th frame. Handed the lead on the bench. Oh, solid 9.
Oh, solid 9.
Were you anywhere near when Parker Bone left the back-to-back solid 9s?
In that game that he lost, that probably cost him a chance at making it. Yeah, it is a cruel sport. It really is.
I mean, 1 is bad enough, but 2.
When you leave him back to back, yeah.
Clipped it.
I don't know how much you watch Parker bowl this week, but the shot on the left is you had to go up the boards. You couldn't really leak it, and which Scroggins is good at that, keeping it straight.
Yeah, man, we paid quite a bit of attention actually to Parker on Monday because he had a tough day Sunday, and it's
right.
like,
And then he came back.
All of us said Parker's going to find a way to get there, and he did get there.
Oh, he started throwing flames. He must have been up 19, 20 miles an hour to make sure that he didn't have to hook it, and it was. I was watching him from the side. That last step had to be a 6-foot slide as he was powering into it. It's interesting to watch.
8-pin lead for LeClair.
8 pins and he's striking. This game's fairly close, and wraps have been the whole story. They're all hitting the pocket. They're throwing it right there every time.
A couple of big ring 10s for LeClair and that 7-10 for Edwards, but just trailing by 8. Double can take the lead back. Ray Edwards looking for his first national PBA 50 title to complete his ring and get a title at every rung of PBA competition.
Oops.
In the nose.
Got short that time. That was big frame right there.
Pete Weber loosening up on lane 6. He will have a date with history in the title match. Weber looking to repeat the feat of his roommate this week, Tom Baker, who won 3 consecutive senior events, John, back in 2006.
Is that right? He
And
did that?
when you think of great debuts on the PBA Senior Tour, now the PBA 50 Tour, Tom Baker was unbeatable when he began.
He's
Ron Moore had a similar run for a while.
Yeah, Tommy, especially Tommy, he pretty much dominated the senior tour for a while, and he's still semi-dominating as all the young 50s came out, because Tommy is 60. And then Ron Moore, same thing, a fitness fanatic. Whoa, big 9. And who really works hard at staying in shape, something like 700 push-ups, sit-ups every day. And, Ron is a really, really tough competitor, and he's going to be there in the mix. But right now, it's almost as if Pete is bowling better now than he did when he was in his prime. He just his game just looks so pure right now
and it's impervious to
the conditions.
Yeah,
he seems like he's playing them the same every week, no matter how the conditions are different. 37 feet, 47 feet, it doesn't matter. I don't even know if the public understands.
Oh, I don't know if I understand, and I get to watch it more often than most.
That's good.
Oh, another ringing 10.
Solid 10.
So it fails to double.
So he'll stay ahead. Is that 23? What is he?
Be 23 with a spare.
23 with the spare. I think we'll talk about it a little bit next game when we were at the Villages, and try and explain exactly why Pete is able to create that ball reaction. We'll get into that a little bit next game.
Brian LeClair up 23. 8th frame of our semifinal. Pete Weber is waiting for the winner in the 6 laps of 10 there.
Well, Ray's got to put 2 together right now. He's got to make Brian LeClair perform right now. It's the important thing.
So the last time here,
he left the 4.67.
it was a split, and then the reaction was the light hit, and now he's got to find one down the middle. Actually, he's got to find 2 down the middle.
Yeah. Right now.
Now or never. Edwards in the 8th. And flat 10. Roller, no.
So it reaches the point now. He's got to make this, and the strike in the 9th frame is a must to have Brian LeClair go up and have to do something. A little bit, though, of how this condition has played all week. They come out of the gate 250, 240, and you think the scores are going to be high. And then you go to see what we've been watching all week. No matter how hard you try, 180 to 2-0, 190. And what kept the scores down so much?
204 max for Ray Edwards, foundation frame. LeClair pacing at 208.
All right, kept him alive. Needs 2 marks, got to do it.
LeClair quickly up, shutout situation. He'll finish in the 9th and 10th. 209 the magic, or rather 205 the magic number for Brian. 2 marks will do it. That's a good one.
It's a good one. Unless he big 4s or something like that, this game is over. I'm curious to see if he throws it hard and straight again. I don't know if he'd take that kind of chance. I think he wants to make a good shot here.
Light power mix. Brian LeClair will advance to the title match, and he'll face Pete Weber. Only LeClair stands in the way Pete Weber claiming history here tonight.
Well, especially if Pete wins this last game, to have a 4th and 3 wins in the first 4 stops, that's a really big leap into Bowler of the Year honors. Even though there's a lot of stops left, it's
a good start.
It's a heck of a start. It gives you
to back up your PBA 50 Player of the Year award. But great performance from Ray Edwards. Good to see Ray on the Stepladder final. Really enjoy chatting with Ray. And he's a dead ringer for Anderson Cooper.
For Anderson Cooper, is that right? So, he could do the next debate.
Exactly, exactly. We'll have Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton moderated by Ray Edwards. I'd watch that.
I'd watch that. I'd pay to watch that.
Third place finish for Ray Edwards. PBA member since 1989.
Okay, Ray.
Stick around. Title match is coming up next. The man in the title is with us. PBA Johnny Petraglia BVL Open title match coming next. Pete Weber gunning for 3 in a row versus Brian LeClair, looking for his 2nd senior title next.
Anybody scared on that one? Obviously not.
Coming up next, it's a title match from Farmingdale Lanes in Farmingdale, New York. And good evening and welcome to Farmingdale Lanes, 4th stop of the PBA 50 Tour. Mike Jakubowski with Hall of Famer Johnny Petraglia. And John, among your great talents on the Pro Bowling Tour, your ability to tell stories. I swear, whenever we get a chance, you don't repeat them. How do you? What is the catalog of Johnny Petraglia's stories, and how does it work?
Well, 51 years on tour, Mike. You accumulate a lot of stories. You don't have to repeat. You know, if I only had 5 stories a year, I got 250 stories. So there's a lot to tell over the years, and it's really been a great run. I've had such a lucky life. It's been terrific.
Well, we're so glad to have you with us, and the second time we have been able to do this Johnny Petraglia BVL Open. We're hoping for a third.
I hope so. You know, it's we raised about $50,000 for the vets the first year. I'm sure we're going to raise about the same amount this year, and if we can keep raising that kind of money for the veterans, the greatest citizens we have that are protecting us every day, that's what it's all about. And
we got a lot to look forward to also in 2016 on the PBA 50 Tour coming up. It's a West Coast swing with a major and 2 stops in California. And then, John, a lot happening in Indiana in the Midwest coming up. We'll have a PBA 60 only stop, and we'll have additional PBA 50 majors in Welch, Minnesota, and coming up in Elkhart, Indiana. Big back half of the schedule.
This is a wonderful year as the senior tour is developing and getting better and better. Actually, I think we end up with 15 tournaments this year and 4 majors, and they worked out really great. The East Coast Swing was 4 events, and then we have the Senior Masters with the other 4 PBA events, and then we have that swing through Minnesota, Hammond, Indiana, and and then the next 4. So we have 3 different segments that are terrific, and with the majors coming up, it's going to be really exciting starting the end of this month.
For more information, PBA.com, and now it's our title match, Brian LeClair. And here's John Weber with the introduction of his brother.
So he'd like to join Tommy in that regard. PBA and USBC Hall of Famer Pete Weber. Good luck, guys.
Well, this should be quite the match. Brian LeClair is lined up, and Pete's been lined up for a month, so we'll see.
Interesting that Pete limits his practice. He says, I just need those 8 shots. Doesn't prefer to practice on the fresh because that's not what he's going to see when he gets to his match. And LeClair starts as he has started with a perfect strike.
Well, he does look relaxed, doesn't he?
He sure does. One of the interesting things about Weber, no matter the circumstance, the lane condition, the house, the situation, his opponent always starts the match.
Yes. He doesn't want to lose sitting on the bench. He wants a chance to close you out.
Tournament leader Pete Weber, opening shot. 6 around the 10.
You know, the thing that the magical thing about Pete when you watch, as he lets the ball go, and he has this axis tilt that comes off his hands that stops the ball from reading the front half of the lane, so he only has to play the back half of the lane. And better than anybody, he can get that hand open, so it's only wrist rotation that's creating it, so he never overhits the ball. And by doing that, because he's only playing that back half of the lane, he just picks up the right bowling ball on each pattern that we bowl on to get that ball to do what he wants to back 30 feet. And it just works every week. I know he says it's instinctive, and maybe it is, but he just manages to do it so well all the time. I feel like when we both cheetah pattern, you're supposed to be out on the gutter in cheetah, and he was playing 15 to 5, a couple of weeks ago, and now he looks like he's almost in the same place. It's amazing.
He says, you put it out there and I'll conquer it. Spare strike for Weber, and LeClair a chance to double and grab an early lead.
Whoops.
And stood up, crossing over. First real bad shot.
Wow. Yeah, that's one. He'll just have to forget that one. It was like an amnesia attack. He'll forget it, and he'll get going again. He'll be okay. I'm glad you asked a question about the veterans, because the Spina family has done so much on the money that goes in, and it is so important to understand what the military does. People don't realize till you keep reminding them that the one group that doesn't care if you're left, right, or whatever you believe in, they're going to protect you. Doesn't matter.
Lake Sing strike.
Back on.
LeClair's strength tonight has been his control of the pocket, and he's got the light look and the in the pocket look.
Yeah, he does. That light hit has been going for him a lot. That wasn't easy to carry all week.
Now Pete Weber a chance to claim the first double in this title match. Going for 3 in a row on the PBA 50 tour. It's only been done once. Tom Baker did it in 2006. And he makes the adjustment from the 10 pin, and he doubles. Everyone goes through stretches where they have supreme confidence. John, what was your moment of supreme confidence when you just were unbeatable in your mind?
You know, when I won 3 in a row, it's so long ago, back in '71, but it reached a point where my spot felt like it was right in front of me, that it was impossible to miss, and you know, it reached a point where you just feel like I got to let the ball go so everybody else knows it. And I think Pete's going through that right now, but that was not good. He lost that one early. He's not happy. Yeah, he hasn't made too many shots like that. But confidence is, it's hard to manufacture confidence. It has to come from something else happening most of the time. And that had happened to me. And it's, you know, it's a wonderful feeling when it happens. It's what makes you do what you do.
All right, come on in. Not the best shot I threw.
LeClair can double and erase a 7-pin deficit. Threw a bad one here last time. Erase that memory. 4th frame. Stepped out of it a little bit.
Yeah, he did. He sort of lost the right lane a little bit. And I think that lane's starting to break down a shade where that ball was holding. That one hooked high on him. So we had that really big first game. And since then, the scores have been fairly low. The lane's changed a little bit. And everybody's starting to see how the center played the entire week, or the pattern that the PBA put down for the entire week. When you bowl it on 3-1, that's tough. There may be periods during the day that the scores are going to be okay, but by and large, they're not going to be that high. Do you think, right, to explain to the public out there, when we talk about a 3-to-1 ratio, there's 3 units of oil in the middle to 1 on the outside. So what happens is, since nobody's playing outside, is once enough bowling balls have been thrown, you're essentially on a flat lane. So as you bowl more and more and more, and if you're not lined up just right, when you miss wide, that ball is going to hang wide. And then when you miss in, it's going to want to run to the nose because because the pattern becomes so flat. It's almost like bowling in the parking lot, and so it's very hard. You have to repeat shots very, very well.
So LeClair Dutch halfway through our title match. Pete Weber with a 7-pin lead, now working in the 5th frame. Solid 10,
and
pocket
that
strike, fast 8.
You know, that ball jumped a little bit for a fast 8. So the right-hand lane is broken down a little bit, and it wants to hook a little more. So in actuality, Pete has made the right decision because the left-hand lane is playing easier, and he's going to finish first. We have a 5-pin game right now, and LeClair is going to have to bowl his 10th frame on the right lane should he need anything. Just trying to project what's going to happen down the line.
And that was exactly what he was perhaps thinking.
It was different on with commercials, because in commercials you wanted the other guy to start if you were the leader, because commercials were at 3.5 and 6.5 frames, and you wanted your opponent to sit for the commercials. This is a little bit different. That is a strategy of a different kind.
You can see Weber inching further and further out.
Yeah, he's pinching to the right, and the ball's getting a little bit longer than it was, half 10. But he's still got a 4-pin lead. LeClair's got to strike up, I think. Yeah. I do know this, that, you know, when the Johnny Petraglia Open was in Carolina Lanes, Pete won it when they asked me to sign the trophy. And then he said, last year, I want this trophy. I want to have bookends. I want you to win this one. So he mentioned that again to me today. And so,
key shot of the match here. LeClair can double and take the lead.
Did he trust it enough?
Oh,
yes,
my.
He did.
Yeah,
shredded the rack. Wow.
That's that power light mix that he commands.
Power right there. Boy, is this a huge shot in the 7th frame here, because he can go up more than 10. This would be big because Pete's only on a spare.
Final 4 frames, title match. Mixing, no, double wood.
Yeah. Double wood, wow. Well, assuming that Brian's going to make this, we're going to have a great finish. That's what it comes down to.
He had that lane, and that one just scoots just a touch long. Again, little transition over there now.
Hey, you're right, Mike. Those lanes are changing while they're bowling on them. So it's not only a question of making a good shot, it's a question of guessing how much the lane has changed.
Getting late, Pete Weber. Not many like Pete Weber that can strike when he needs him in these situations. Trails here by 4 pins, 7th frame.
Wow. Yeah, that was really good when you need it. No muscle there. No muscle in that swing. That was as good as you can throw it.
Tom Baker and Pete Weber rooming here, and Pete can equal Tom's mark of 3 straight PBA 50 wins. Bakes did it back in 2006. Weber, the PBA 50 Player of the Year, looking to run his 3rd straight here in 2016. Finger straight up. And a can opener and the fist. Always look for the hand. Watch the hand on this replay. See the finger straight up.
Look at that. Wow. Boy, that's so hard to do in the heat. It's easy to do in practice, but in the heat, it's tough to do.
Big double now, LeClair. He's into it up to his elbows. 8th frame. He needs to double to take the lead back. And LeClair delivers quality shot under pressure.
Yeah, he has, and he seems like he's figured out that right lane. Real good shot, so he's got a place to play in the 10th frame if it becomes necessary. He's got to hit this lane, though. He's got to get by this one.
Players go through so much to get these chances. And now LeClair can step up in the foundation frame and steal a short lead from Weber. Title match.
Wow.
And he delivered a pure.
How about those two?
Double. Wow.
Wow, that was premium right there. Both of them. You know, you're out here for 3 days, 30-something games, and it comes down to this shot. If I want a chance to win, you throw it that good. That's very impressive.
So Weber served, LeClair volleyed, and now ball back in Pete Weber's hands, foundation frame. Walked it out, peeking an 8-pin, but down they go. Weber takes the lead right back. Watch the 8-pin.
Flush, yeah. 6 pins going into the 10th. Well, just sit back and watch.
The maestro directing traffic, and 244 max would be a winner in history. He liked it, and the 10-pin.
Oh my God.
Stands, and a roller doesn't get it. The flat bottoms rear back.
Wow. It got hit twice.
He loved every bit of it.
It got hit, and then it just got missed. Look at this.
Oh.
Really?
223 with a fill.
Well, he needs a strike and count, and he knows where he's going to play.
Had an issue with the right lane, and then he figured it out back in the 8th. And by that slim margin of the flat bottom and the roller missing it by that much, LeClair has this opportunity to claim his second PBA national title. Oh no, 7-10 split.
Wow. Well, he hit the pocket, but Pete's a winner. 3 in a row.
That would not have been among my guesses for things that could have happened on that shot.
That's true. But he did need the strike.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Whether it was 7-10 or just a 10-10, that was.
Wow, what
put
a
it
finish.
there.
What a
Put it there.
finish. Weber makes history. 3 in a row on the senior tour.
3 in a row on the senior tour. Just tremendous bowling. What else can you say? Yes.
Johnny, thank you so much for joining us, and what a pleasure
Thank you, Mike.
to work the Johnny Petraglia BVL Open.
This is the extra fame is getting so great. We have so many great bowlers on the show every week. It's just wonderful to be here.